Sometimes I have a verse in season. And one that comes up frequently is in Exodus, where it says, God blesses our bread and water, takes sickness and disease away from us, and the number of our days He does. The number of our days He does fulfill. And that doesn't mean I'm going to fulfill my days, hopping on one leg in pain all the time.
That's true.
Been there and done that. So we live in the flesh. The flesh has an assignment. It's to maintain its assignment. It cannot hear from God. It does not hear from God. It will not lead you into the Word. And that's not why. It's for red lights. If the flesh tells you, hey, that's a red light, you should stop. That's what it's for. If it tells you you have a fever, you said, thank you for that notification. I will get out my healing book today. That's all it's for. And that's what this verse means. We walk in the flesh, we don't war. The battle of the thoughts cannot be done with the flesh. All the flesh does is tells you what's sensual. Tells you what you see, what you hear, how you feel. It doesn't have a solution for any of those things, by the way. So do you see that? Do you hear that? Do you feel that? And it kind of is, have you noticed the flesh repeats a lot? It says, do you feel that? Do you feel that? Oh, do you feel that? That's worse, isn't it? All the flesh does is send out a notice that you need to step into the Spirit and let God arise. That's what it's for. It cannot fight the war. Now it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You know the word carnivore has to do with flesh-eating animals. So we have some weapons, but they're not of the flesh. That's what that means. That's why the Scripture is very clear to crucify the flesh. And it says make it a living sacrifice. So it's not going to die, but it isn't going to dictate to me. It isn't going to command me and demand of me. I follow the Lord. He's my master. And I follow His word. So when the flesh says, you're going to die, feel that pain. And your friends will help you, especially your family that knows you well. They'll say, you look terrible today, Becky Sue. That's what they would have called me. Do you feel okay? You look terrible. Now, what would they say if you said, yeah, and I think I'm going to die? I don't know about your family, but my family's all born again. They'd say, she wants us to back off. They would know that. My family would know that. Because I'm going to not die before my father did. He was 89. I'll be here for a while. I don't know if I'll be talking all that time, but I will be talking quite a while yet. Now, look, you can't work with the flesh. It sends out notices. It sends out memos, but has no power. The weapons of war are not carnal. They're not of the flesh, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Pulling down of strongholds is the same thing that you see in the next verse, cast down reasonings or imagination. The stronghold, that's the word for fortress or castle. Fortresses or castles are built stone by stone. If you watch abandoned houses, do you watch that site? Love abandoned houses. It's amazing. Many of them are still got the furniture in them from 18 whatever. It's just an amazing sight. And a lot of them are castles if it comes from overseas. And they build those things, and we've been in the castles in Scotland and in Germany, and they build those things one stone at a time. And see, you're building a fortress. It talks about a castle or a fortress. You know how you're building that? With your wrong thoughts. See, it says pull down the stronghold. You don't pull down anything that God's doing. This is not what God's doing. This is what my wrong thoughts are doing. And every wrong thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm in great pain. Puts another stone. You know what that fortress is for? It's where the devil hides. He hides in your mind. He hides in your thoughts. It's where he hides. That's why it says you got to cast down imaginations. You got to abolish wrong thinking. If it doesn't agree with God, you cannot think that. So, well, how can I just not think of something I'm thinking about? You open to Isaiah 53 and says, surely he has lifted up, carried away to a distance, our grief, sickness, weakness, distress, pain, and sorrow. And you say it over and over, or you read it over and over and over again, because we do not want the devil to find a hiding place. He hides in your mind. We don't want him hiding in our mind. And it says if your thought doesn't agree with God's thought, you need to get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of it is to replace it.